Asian shares trade mixed on Thursday after Wall Street swings between gains and losses, but holds near record levels following the Federal Reserve's rate cut. Japan's Nikkei, South Korea's Kospi, and China's Shanghai Composite are in the green, while the rest are in the red. On currencies, the US dollar appreciates against the Japanese yen, the Singapore dollar, the South Korean won, and the Thai baht. It is flat against the Hong Kong dollar. The Australian dollar, on the other hand, depreciates against the greenback. In commodities, gold trades lower while oil prices are down. In cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin rises nearly 1.6%, and Ethereum adds more than 2%. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee cites Curlee Discaya in contempt. The move comes after he issued conflicting statements on the absence of his wife, Sara Discaya, from the ongoing inquiry into alleged anomalies in flood control projects. Curlee first claimed that his wife could not attend due to a heart condition, but a letter she sent to the panel stated a different reason: a prior meeting with her employees.
Humihingi po ako ng pasensya po sa inyo. Wala po akong intention talaga magsinungaling, pero yung misis ko po kasi talaga ay madalas po, may sakit po talaga siyang diabetes at saka meron po talaga siyang hypertension. At katunayan nga po, marami po siyang mga maintenance po na gamot na ginagamit.
So let's rule first on the motion, pending motion, before anybody else talks. No? So there's no objection. So, Mr. Discaya, you are cited in contempt of this committee.
Former Bulacan DPWH engineer Henry Alcantara was also cited in contempt for denying knowledge of ghost projects in his jurisdiction despite evidence presented at the hearing. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee grants physical protection to SYMS Construction trading owner Sally Santos. Santos made the request out of fear amid the ongoing probe into anomalous flood control projects. During the hearing, she asked to be placed under the Senate's protective custody before disclosing what she knows. Committee Chair Paolo Duterte agreed, but warned that her protection would be revoked if she is caught lying. Santos then testified that former DPWH officials Bryce Hernandez and JP Mendoza forcibly used their company's license to carry out ghost projects in Bulacan. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee will subpoena former Public Works Undersecretary Maria Catalina Cabral. Speaking at the panel's Thursday hearing, DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon said he has officially accepted the resignation of Cabral a few days ago. He said Cabral might have also requested the panel not to attend the hearing anymore. But Senator Rodante Marcoleta asserts Cabral should still attend the hearings despite her resignation. Senator Panfilo Lacson previously alleged that Cabral asked Senate President Vicente Soto III to make early insertions in the proposed 2026 national budget. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel launches a sweeping audit of all farm-to-market road projects implemented since 2021. The move comes after President Bongbong Marcos directed officials to investigate anomalies in flood control and other infrastructure projects. Tiu Laurel says any irregularities found in agricultural road projects will be reported directly to the president. He's targeting to complete the audit by the end of the year. Davao City 1st District Representative Paolo Duterte insists there are no ghost projects in his area. He is responding to a statement made by Ilocos Norte 1st District Representative Sandro Marcos about the 50 billion peso fund for infra projects in his district. Duterte asserts the DPWH Region 11 has already clarified the budget in his district and claims, quote, are all properly accounted for. He also dares the president's son to act on the trillions of pesos allegedly plundered by his uncle, former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, and the Co-Bicol party list Congressman Zaldico. The lawmaker from Davao also challenges Sandro Marcos and his father to a hair follicle drug test. Laila de Lima, representative of Mamamayang Liberal Party List, believes President Marcos personally backed Faustino Boji D so he could take control of the lower chamber amid public outrage over alleged budget irregularities. D earned the speaker position with 253 votes. On BNC's At the Forefront, she said President Marcos may have prevailed upon former Speaker Martin Romualdez to step down, describing his position as untenable. De Lima noted D's strong political ties to the Marcoses and said his installation could signal a tighter grip on the budget process.
Right now, ang tingin ko dyan, si PBBM na ang nag-take charge.
Siya na ang bumabaston.
Siya na bumabaston. And that's why he had to pick yung fellow, Ilocano from the north. And then politically, talaga naman, the Ds have been always affiliated with the
From
Marcoses.
Kabataang Barangay.
From Kabataang
KB pa
Barangay
pala yun.
So, choice talaga siya. Ako even if they deny it, I think that's the fact na siya ang choice talaga, personal choice of BBM. So since he is his choice, then kaya na niya. Na he would run the show, he would make sure that this time around, lalo na dyan sa budget process na yan, wala na yung mga ganon na mga unprecedented.
Navota's Representative Toby Tiangco wants changes in other leadership positions in the House of Representatives.
Kung papakita namin yung suporta kay Speaker Boji, I think that we have to give him
A
the
free hand,
prerogative doon sa pagpili ng deputy speakers. It's not really more important than the change is the prerogative we give him para naman magawa niya yung mga kailangan niyang gawin.
On BNC's On Point, Tiangco said that the replacement of Martin Romualdez as House Speaker was inevitable. He stressed that the House's integrity must be protected amid the flood control scandal.
Kasi ang problema is may missing link na hindi makasagot doon sa mga akusasyon, and that is Saldico, di ba? Hindi mapaliwanag ni Saldico yung mga dapat niyang ipaliwanag. At tapos, since siya yung Committee on Appropriations Chairman ni Speaker Romualdez noon, parang nagkaroon ng command responsibility si Speaker Romualdez noon. Kaya ganun yung nangyari. Kaya kinangailangan ng pagbabago para makita ng tao na seryoso kami na imbestigahan yung talagang punot dulo niyan.
Tiangco suggests to the House Infrastructure Committee to acquire a medical certificate from Congressman Zaldico, currently in the United States for medical treatment. He says if Co's condition isn't life-threatening, the House should compel him to come home and explain his side. But House Majority Leader Sandro Marcos says there will be no changes in the chairmanships of House committees. The younger Marcos explains they are in the middle of budget deliberations, stressing the need to pass the country's most important law, the national budget. He adds that making changes now would be too disruptive. The Labor Department is now investigating flood control deals done by private contractors and its possible impact on employment figures. Paolo Barcelon reports.
Labor Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma is now coordinating with Public Works Chief Vince Dizon to investigate DPWH flood control deals and check if there were indeed jobs generated as a result of these deals. Laguesma says close to 150,000 jobs in the construction sector were generated in July, lower than the 206,000 jobs tallied in June. And he told Bilyonaryo News Channel host Marichu Villanueva that they are now checking all regions for ghost and substandard projects.
Kasi ang mga regional directors ng DOLE, meron silang instruction always coordinate with departments that have something to do with employment or loss of employment.
Yes.
And we are doing that. As part ng investigation, di ba, may mga paghinto ng trabaho o kaya yung mga ghost projects, yung flood control. Wala naman sigurong ghost employees unless meron silang nilista to justify yung kanilang amount, di ba?
Laguesma says these projects have contributed to unemployment rise as well as the effects of bad weather, such as typhoons and monsoon rains. Kilusang Mayo Uno General Secretary Jerome Adonis says the lack of a stable industry in the country and dependence on foreign investments are the real culprits of joblessness. Adonis adds, aside from government agencies, corrupt contractors should also be held accountable for the ghost flood control projects.
Dapat ibalik din nila at dapat meron sa kanilang matinding punishment. Kung kinakailangan isara yung mga yung mga kumpanya na yan na involved mismo lalo na yung mga Discaya, ang daming imaginein mo ang lalaki pala nung kickback nila, nakaw nila mula dun sa mga ghost project, mula sa taong bayan, so kasabwat yung mga opisyal ng gobyerno. Tapos yung mga manggagawa nila, tignan mo lang magkano lang sahod niyan.
The KMU says it will join other organizations in demanding accountability and for better labor conditions at the September 21 rally in Luneta. Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
We're taking a short break. A look at how Philippine shares did today. When we return, you're watching Business Brief. Companies are urged to turn pledges for renewable energy into reality at the Net Zero Conference on Thursday. Paolo Barcelon is on the line for more details. Go ahead, Paolo.
Hi, Mai. Philippine businesses are aiming to step up its climate game with new efforts to turn net zero targets into action. This as Thursday's Net Zero Conference, bringing together government and businesses, are doubling down on the pledge to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 75% by 2030. Some of the key measures being tackled in focus is the Low Carbon Economy Investment Act, which proposes a cap-and-trade system limiting emissions, issuing tradable allowances, and channeling penalties into a climate reinvestment fund. The House version of the bill has already passed in third reading at the 19th Congress, and a Senate counterpart is currently pending at the committee level. One of the country's leading renewable energy providers, meanwhile, says it is gearing up for more renewable energy options to help power areas in Mindanao. First Gen says it's preparing for more geothermal projects.
Thank you for that report, Paolo Barcelon. The leadership shakeup in the House of Representatives may boost investor confidence. Cristina Ulam, research head of First Metro Investment Corporation, tells BNC's Business 360 that the leadership change restores credibility in Congress and could encourage foreign participation.
Because governance really is a key barometer, foreign participation, foreign investment. We have seen Japan and South Korea really improve in terms of return on market equities just because they have overhauled the system and made it very credible to foreign investors in terms of checks and balances and accountability, transparency. So I think this is a very positive step on the part of the Philippine legislature, bringing the country to the better gold standard of accountability, transparency. So I think this is good for investments and for attracting foreign money.
She also notes that U.S. monetary policy is trickling down positively to the Philippine peso and bond market following the Federal Reserve's widely expected 25 basis point rate cut.
Well, the U.S. Fed cutting, which is expected to happen in all of the successive Fed meetings, they will have two. The market is pricing in one cut, 25 basis point for each meeting, 2 more this year, and then 5 more in next year. So that's going to bring the Fed rate to the neutral rate. So I think that's creating a lot of positive impact, positive backdrop on Philippine currency and Philippine bonds. And I think that comes at a time when the BSP is also cutting rate. It is going to create a lot of leeway and scope for the BSP to cut rates, given that inflation is projected to be 1.7% this year, very benign. And so we may see the BSP really enabling the economy to be stimulated to the level of 6% next year.
The board of directors of Aboitiz Power Corporation approves the early redemption of its 10-year fixed-rate retail bonds issued in 2018. Aboitiz Power says the 2018 Series C bonds carry a fixed interest rate of 8.5% per annum, totaling 2.5 billion pesos. The company will fully prepay the bonds this month using proceeds from retail bonds issued earlier this year. Aboitiz Power is working with BDO Unibank Trust and Investments Group and the Philippine Depository and Trust Corporation to issue notices and calculate amounts due to bondholders. MegaWorld Corporation sells 168.6 million shares of MREIT Incorporated in a block sale transaction at 13.28 pesos per share, generating approximately 2.24 billion pesos before fees and taxes. In its disclosure, the company says proceeds from the block sale will be settled on September 19. MegaWorld will also submit a reinvestment plan detailing how the proceeds will be used. Maybank Securities, BDO Securities, First Metro Securities, and RCBC Securities served as brokers for the transaction. The Board of Directors of Ayala Corporation approves expanding its share buyback program to include shares of its publicly listed subsidiaries. In its disclosure, the company says the expansion is endorsed by its Finance Committee. The program has an outstanding approval of 20 billion pesos as previously disclosed back in 2019 and 2021. The Michelin Guide will announce Philippine restaurants that made it to its 2026 edition on October 30th. The awarding ceremony will be held at the Manila Marriott Hotel in Newport World Resorts to be streamed live on the Michelin Guide Asia YouTube channel. Restaurants from across the country are vying for the Michelin stars and the Bib Gourmand selection and other awards. The winners will be chosen by anonymous inspectors based on a 5-point criteria, namely quality of ingredients, mastery of technique, and harmony of flavors. The chef's personality through the cuisine and consistency complete the list. Philippine shares rise for a third straight day as investors digest the Federal Reserve's 25 basis point rate cut. The PSEI climbs nearly 0.4% to 62.33, making it the fourth best performer in Asia. Sectoral indices and mixed, with holding firms leading gains at over 1%, while mining and oil declined the most at 2.5%. Advancers narrowly outnumber decliners 89 to 88, with value turnover reaching 6.9 billion pesos. Majority of the day's most active stocks close in the green, with Pure Gold leading gains at nearly 3%. In currency trading, the peso trades at 57.07 against the US dollar, down from the previous close of 56.89. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business. Only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'll see you then.